usually, the exams are usually done. So basically what you're gonna find when you walk in next week. First, okay, once you come inside, I'm gonna give you the paper with all the blank lines, and you're gonna stand to this side and put your bags on the floor on this side, and you're not gonna go to the stations until I say so. Okay? The stations are gonna be set up on the tables and the counters. Usually we start with question number 1 on this side. And what you're gonna be doing is that you're gonna go to the station, answer as many questions as you have there, and then when I say switch, you're gonna go to the next one. Okay? And that way it's gonna go a lot faster. It's gonna take about 30 to 40 minutes for everybody to go once around, and then you're gonna have about 15 to 20 minutes depending on how you feel about the exam, and if everybody's missing like half the exam, I'll let you have a little more time, but you'll have time to go around again, but not in the orderly process. Just go to whichever one you need, but you cannot be together in the same station. You have to be only one person per station. If for any reason you need the same question somebody else does, wait for them to finish a little bit behind them, and then you can go to the station. Okay, usually the questions are gonna be like, okay, we have free questions, and we have model questions, and we have CAT questions, and the slides. But like I said, if we do not, I'm probably not gonna use the slides, so don't worry about them. If I decide to use any slides, I would probably use them as extra credit or something, okay? So the questions, the free questions are gonna be regular theory, like the ones that we see in the quizzes, like name the female sex hormone or something like that. But you could also have something more complicated, like, for example, have, I don't know, this model here, and have this organ pointed at, and ask what hormone is secreted by this gland. This is the pancreas. So you should know that this is the pancreas first, but the answer is actually gonna be yes. Okay? So that's gonna be like, that's one type of questions that you might encounter a lot, that they give you something, but they're not gonna say what it is, and they're gonna ask, what is that for? Or what does it do? Or where should it be located if they give you just the empty, like, area, you know? The blood cells, we see this a lot. What do the granules contain in this cell? First you have to know which cell it is, and then you can know that the granules contain histamine, right?
They contain what?
Histamine.
Oh.
Or they can be like, it can be like, okay, what is the function of these, like this cell? But they're not gonna tell you what cell it is. You would have to know by looking at the cell, and then you would be able to say that it's for the immune response and allergic reactions, stuff like that. Okay? So you see that a lot. And
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
what else? Okay, that's for the tricky questions. Because then if you make a mistake because you didn't pay attention, and instead of putting insulin or something like that, you put pancreas, even though, okay, you were right in that was the organ, that is not the answer that we were looking for. That is not the question that we were asking. So that would be wrong. That means that you're not paying attention to what you're reading, okay? So just don't go over to a model, look at what it's pointing at, and put the name. Make sure you read what the question is asking, because half the time it's not asking what it is, but what does it do? Or what does it secrete? Or even a condition that affects that area in this way, okay? So that's part of what the exam is like. It's tricky in that way, that if you don't pay attention to what you're reading, you're gonna get it wrong. It's not really hard, it's just tricky, okay? Then, with the CAT, it's most likely gonna be like today. You're gonna have a pin. Instead of me telling you where is the great saphenous vein? You're going to have a pin on the great saphenous vein, and it's going to say identify the vein marked with the yellow pin, or something like that, or with the number, whatever. So you're going to look at the cat and see, okay, the pin is at the great saphenous vein, so that is your answer. But even there, you could get questions like the tricky ones, like, I don't know, like, what type of blood is carried by this blood vessel? And it's going to be pointing at any artery, and you have to make sure you say that it carries oxygenated blood to the body, or whatever it is. But you have to make sure you read the questions and listen to the instructions. Okay, what else? On this model, on this one, you're probably going to be looking at the lymph nodes, which are the axillary, cervical, inguinal, and mesenteric. Okay, that's mostly what they're going to be asking from this one. Other thing that you might see here is this sternochyli, which is the little lump there. You see that it's like a lymph node just right there in the middle. That's a sternochyli. You might see that question. It's a very common question. Okay, from there, that might pretty much be it in this one. And I mean, everything else are lymphatic vessels. So if it's pointing at something like right here, it's just lymphatic vessels. It's not that complicated there. I don't know if we're going to use this one or not, but it should be the same as in this one. Here, you can see the same things that you were looking at the cat, which are, you know, brachiocephalic here and here, the aortic arch here. This is external iliac, and then external iliac for the veins, and then femoral and great saphenous. You might see the axillary under here. Jugular and carotid. They might ask a lot of that, like the same things on the cat, but from the torso, because it's not just learn where the pins were when you study it, but you actually have to understand where they relate to the human body, because that's basically what we're doing here. We're talking about human anatomy. We're just using the cat because, well, we cannot use human cadavers. So that's why. And from here, I don't think they're going to ask anything more complicated here, like the pancreas or anything, but you never know. You should know where the pancreas is. Same thing for this one. This is most likely used for stuff like the veins and the arteries, because they're very visible. Like here you have the brachial vein in this one. On the bottom you have the femoral and great saphenous veins. You have descending abdominal aorta, descending thoracic aorta. You have the aortic arch, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and here you have brachiocephalic, jugular. So that is usually used for that also. Okay, the blood. We talked about the blood. Like I said, the cells. You're gonna have the cells. It can be, maybe they give you the red blood cell and they're gonna ask you, name the disease in which these cells cannot do their function. Okay, what is their function? Red blood cells. Carry oxygen. What happens when they cannot carry oxygen? Anemia. So that would be your answer for a question like that. So you just have to think about it and look at what you have there and the question.
How many questions like that?
Each TA does as many as they want. Like, we just get, like, for example, I got, okay, you need to bring me 20 questions about the lymphatic system, 20 questions about the veins, 20 questions about the actual cat, and 20 questions about, I don't know, something else. So from those 20 questions each, I have to choose, well, they're going to choose 10 out of the 20 that I gave. But that's just for that exercise. Then you have another TA doing the blood and giving, I don't know, 30 questions for the blood, and we're only going to choose 15 out of those. So if the TA made all of the questions like that, all 15 are going to be like that. If they only made one question like that and we don't choose it, then it's not going to be there. So, like I said, that's up to each one of the TAs. There's 5 of us, So the questions are very different, like from one exercise to the other. Okay. What is this?
Pigment.
What is it for?
Check the pressure.
Exactly. They're gonna ask that, most likely. It's always there.
You have to know how to spell it correctly, right?
Yes. Learn how to spell it correctly. Okay. I'll just fix it later. Okay. Remember the blood test that you made on, like that you did on yourselves. Okay. How do you check for the blood typing? Like, how do you know? What happens?
Oh, it coagulates. It coagulates.
It coagulates whenever you add the serum for that
Yeah, that's
blood type. So remember the antibodies and the antigens and how they react? Remember that? Because that's gonna be on it. Okay.
Do you have to use those words? Because I just the serum.
Okay. Remember, you have blood cell. If you're type A, then you have antigens A. And antibodies?
B.
Okay, so what do antibodies do? Remember in the immune response?
They attack.
They attack.
The antigen.
But they're specific, right?
Yeah.
So they only attack the antigen specific to themselves.
To themselves.
So if they're B antibodies, they're only going to be able to attack
B antigen.
B antigens. Actually, they identify them and trap them for other cells to destroy them. So if you have A antigens, B antibodies are not going to be able to attack them, right?
Mm.
So what happens if we put in a B blood cell, has B antigens? What's going to happen to that cell?
It's gonna
It's going to die. They're going to kill it. Because the antibodies are going to be able to identify it and stick to it, trap it, and then lead another cell, like the killer cells, to actually destroy those cells. Okay? So you can see the same thing that you saw in the immune response with the specificity and memory and all of that, and add it and apply it to blood typing, because that's how it works. Okay, so what type of blood can O receive?
Oh.
Only O. What if it's positive? What type of blood can it receive? O positive and O negative. And what happens to O negative? Just O negative. What happens to?
Wait, what's the difference between just O without positive or negative?
That's just a generalized idea.
Oh, generalized.
Yeah, it's not like there's no type that is just O. If it doesn't have anything, it's O negative. If it has something, that's positive. What happens to AB positive? Who can donate to AB positive? If you're AB positive, what blood can you receive from somebody?
A, B, and O.
O. You can receive A, B, AB, and O. If you're positive, you can receive all the blood types. A positive, B positive, AB positive, O positive, and all the negatives also. But if you're AB negative, you can receive all the blood types, but only negative. You cannot receive any positive. Because in the positive, you're adding something to a blood type that doesn't have anything. You can't add that. And to this one, since it already has it, if you add it or do not add it, it doesn't affect it, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So what would be the universal recipient?
AB positive.
AB positive. And the universal donor?
O positive.
O negative.
O negative.
O negative. Because you can give this type to every single blood type. Okay?
What's the difference?
Then you have A positive. What can you receive?
A positive.
You can receive A, O, positive or negative?
Both.
A and O, but positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive and negative. And who can you donate to?
A and AB and
To A positive, to AB positive. And that's it. Okay? Okay, do you have any more questions about blood typing? Is that clear?
Wait, A positive can donate to who?
A and AB positive only. Okay, and you do understand this thing, right? If you have AB blood type, what antibodies do you have outside?
A and B.
No.
And
None.
no.
You don't have antibodies for that. And if you're, oh, what antibodies do you have? You have A and you have B.
It's called O antigen, right?
It's actually,
Just O.
it doesn't have anything.
Oh.
So it's the one that doesn't have any antigens, that's O. So if you're if you're O, you're not gonna have like AB antigens, antibodies. It's not one antibody. It's it's A and B. So for example, if you donate AB blood, it's not that you have AB everywhere. It's that you have A, B, all over, okay? So if you give this type to A, then the B antigens on it are gonna attack the cell. If you give this type to B, the A antigens on it are gonna attack the cell, okay? Is that very, very, very extremely clear? Yes?
And that goes for people that have the AB blood type, the one you just said?
Yeah, what I just said, that's for A.
AB, okay.
Yes. Okay.
So either way, it's whatever antigens that they have, it's gonna destroy it, or antibodies.
Yeah.
Antibodies.
Yeah,
not
because the
actually-
only two antibodies for that are A and B.
And B. Okay.
Yeah, so you have both antigens in the cell. So both A and B antibodies would hurt.
Would hurt it. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Okay, what else?
The heart.
Endocrine system. Does everybody get the endocrine system?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna go over that really fast. Okay.
Thyroid. Thymus. Pancreas.
Adrenal.
Adrenal.
Pancreas. Gonads.
Testes. Ovaries.
Okay. Testes and ovaries, they're both gonads. Okay. What is the endocrine system? What does it do?
Secretes hormones.
Secretes hormones. Okay. So, who can tell me what is a tropic hormone?
The ones that secrete hormones, it targets another gland to secrete more hormones.
It targets, so there are the hormones that target another gland to secrete another hormone. Okay? Where are the tropic hormones secreted from?
The pituitary gland?
Anterior pituitary. Yes. Do you remember those four?
Follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, antidiuretic hormone, and growth hormone, and luteinizing.
Not growth
No,
hormone.
not growth.
No. It's secreted by the pituitary, but it's not. Yes.
Thyroid.
Oh, and thyroid stimulating.
Yes, there you go. Remember, follicle stimulating, luteinizing, and thyroid stimulating, they're all, not luteinizing, but follicle stimulating and thyroid stimulating, it says there, it stimulates another gland. So then that's half the answer there. And they're luteinizing, we haven't gone to the reproductive system, but what's it called? It stimulates the luteal body, like the luteinizing hormone from the ovaries to be secreted.
Will you be asking us questions about the role of the hypothalamus in the secretion of...
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. But I can't be sure because I didn't make those. I only made the questions My section was last week's. So lymphatic system and blood vessels.
What were the last four? It was the pancreas, right?
This is pancreas, adrenal, ovaries, and testes.
Okay.
Remember, the pancreas, this is more like a cross-section of the pancreas, and this is the way it actually looks.
Okay.
And it's between the kidneys. It's the same thing that I showed there.
What was in the little? It was
The thyroid? Was
the
it a
thyroid and the
Parathyroid.
parathyroid.
Parathyroid,
Yes, that's how you distinguish thyroid from thymus.
The one with the bumps are the parathyroid.
This is the thyroid, and the actual bumps are
The
the
parathyroid.
parathyroid.
And then for the adrenal gland, are we gonna have to identify the medulla and cortex?
Yes, you have the medulla, which is the inside, and the cortex. Like I said, everything that I'm telling you is just like everything, basically. Like the most important things, because I have not seen the questions that the other TAs picked. So I cannot say we're gonna choose this one
How
or
many
we're not.
questions?
Huh?
How many questions?
In total, about 67
Bonus questions also?
plus bonus.
Okay.
Bonus are 6 questions.
Are we gonna?
Bonus come straight from your quizzes. I'm actually gonna get a copy of the quizzes
I think that was a hint.
and a pair of scissors. Just gonna cut the questions and put them in the papers for the bonus.
But they are not gonna be the bonus for the quizzes, but like the actual quiz
The actual quiz questions
plus the bonus.
are gonna be the bonus.
The actual quiz questions,
Are
but
gonna
not.
be the bonus for the paper.
Can you paint the picture?
Okay. Okay, and the grid. What else?
The
you
heart.
know that little model with the thing that you had last week? The veins and the artery. It had the tunica media.
Oh, the internal.
Oh, okay. The blood vessels.
That one.
It looks something like this. Tunica intima, media, and externa. Remember, they're just layers. The names are very, very basic. Just remember the word tunica, and the rest of it is externa. That's the external one. Intima, that's the internal one. It could be internal also. Doesn't matter.
Are you
And
gonna
the
ask
media.
anything other than that? Than those three?
On the blood vessels, okay? Yes.
And I know you probably already said this, but I don't think I remember what your answer was. Questions about slides, are they going to be like identify this slide, or will it be more like identify this
If
piece
there are
of
any
this slide?
slides, there will probably be just like, what is this?
Okay.
Like, okay,
So we
it's
read our
the,
book, right? They have the slides
Yes.
in the book. Okay.
so it would be like, oh, that's the pancreas. Or it could have the tricky questions again. Like,
What if it was a white blood cell? Would it point to something on the white blood cell and ask you like what?
not likely. They're very, very small. You wouldn't be able to actually distinguish that well there. It's actually white blood cells in just our regular microscopes. They all look very similar. You can't really distinguish between one another. You can tell which ones are the red ones because they're red. Well, they're like pink, and the other ones look like purple. But that's just because of the staining.
Well,
But
like
you're
a-
not going to be able to distinguish each.
Like a red blood cell, would it ask you to name different sections of the red blood cell?
No, it's too tiny. They're just like, it looks like this. Just like that. So it's not like you can actually tell anything inside the cell or anything like that.
What about for the sheep's brain? For the brain?
Brain?
Yeah, the sheep brain.
We didn't
We
discuss any brains.
What about
here.
the heart?
That's another one.
The heart?
The heart.
Yeah, the sheep's heart. I mean.
Okay, it could be, it's gonna be basically the same that this.
Oh, okay.
Or this. Okay, let's go over the heart really fast. Okay.
The order? Superior.
What is on here?
Right atrium.
Right ventricle,
Right ventricle.
left ventricle, left atrium.
Left atrium.
Okay, what is this?
Aortic,
Yes. What is this?
pulmonary,
Pulmonary vein.
Pulmonary Pulmonary artery. Remember, it's backwards in the pulmonary. It's backwards. And the pulmonary veins are this four right here.
Those are the pulmonary veins.
Remember that. Why are they backwards? Who can explain that to me?
Does this have to do with the circulation of the oxygen? So we're oxygenating the other ones?
What does the red mean?
There's-
That's
And the
oxygenated.
blue?
Deoxygenated.
Okay. What are the arteries in general? What are they?
Oxygen go away from them.
No, I mean, exactly. Carry blood to the heart. And the veins?
Away from the heart.
Away from the heart. So in this case, the pulmonary veins carry blood into.
Away.
I got it mixed up. Okay, veins carry blood into the heart, and arteries carry blood out of the heart. Okay, remember, artery away.
So it's backwards?
No, that's the way it is everywhere.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. The only thing that is backwards is that usually arteries that carry blood away from the heart have oxygenated blood because they carry the oxygen out of the heart to take it to all the body, right?
Except for one part of the lungs.
Except for the one going in the lungs because that's going away from the heart, but it's going into the lungs to refuel themselves with oxygen. So they are deoxygenated. So then, if blue means deoxygenated, then the arteries in the pulmonary arteries would be deoxygenated. The arteries on the ones that go to the lungs are deoxygenated. Okay?
They're red? They're blue.
They're blue. That's why it's backwards. They're arteries, but they're blue because they do not have any oxygen in them. Because artery only means that they go away from the heart. Okay? So it's just like a coincidence that all the arteries carry oxygen except for those. Okay? It's just because we have. Where did I put those? Okay. So you have the heart. Okay? Okay. So in here. Okay. So the aorta carries oxygenated blood. Okay. Purple. Oxygenated blood. To your body. Okay? So the purple, which is the blood which has oxygen, goes to the rest of your body because your cells need that oxygen. And then in the capillaries, which is where the gas exchange occurs, oxygen goes out of the blood cells and into your body cells. And then carbon dioxide goes from your actual body cells into your red blood cells, okay? So now your cells have carbon dioxide instead of oxygen. Carbon dioxide, that's the blue one, okay? Well, in this case, it's going to be orange. So that one goes back. Well, it looks yellow. In here, okay? Goes into your right atrium. And then from here, what happens? It goes down into the ventricle, and from here, it goes out through the pulmonary semilunar valve to the pulmonary arteries, because they're arteries because they carry the blood out of the heart, away from the heart. And they're going to go into your lungs. Like that, okay? Once in the lungs, deoxygenated, yeah. Then, yes, in the lungs, gas exchange occurs again. So the carbon dioxide goes out into the lungs, and then all the oxygen that you had in your lungs, because when you breathe in, you take in all the oxygen. So then all the oxygen you have in your lungs goes into your red blood cells. And they go out of your lungs, and they go in through here, pulmonary veins, because veins go back to the heart. And then from there, they go down here and out to the body again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Everybody sure?
So blue, you said.